This clip is going to go out there for all the people that commented on that first one. Yo, the glazing on Pat McAfee in our comments right now is crazy.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm Mark Izzo, joined as always by Dillon O'Brien, and we are your hosts. And on this episode, we will be responding to some hate that we got from hating on Pat McAfee, along with talking about the bad blood matches that have been made official, and we will be taking a look at the PWI Top 10 Men's Wrestlers of 2024. But before we get into that, the best way to support us is to buy our merch. Head over to tpublic.com. We got a bunch of different designs up on there, or you can click the link in the description. Another great way to help support us is to sign up for the Patreon, man. $1 a month, and you can join the World Champion tier, and with that tier, you get early content, you get ad-free content, and you get exclusive content. $1 a month, and you can become a world champion. And we are quickly approaching a big milestone for the Burning Hammer, as we will be working with Dog. We are going to be at the Dog event on September 28th, Sacred Heart Church in Riverton, New Jersey. We will be live from there. They have a bunch of really good matches lined up on that card, along with our boy Connor Schaefer taking on former WWE and ROH wrestler Tank Tolid. So if you're in the area, we better see you there. And if we do see you there, make sure to come up and say what's up, because we love interacting with the Burning Hammer universe. So last week on I feel like we have to at least address this, because this is something that I knew was a little spicy in the moment. And we talked about potentially.
I didn't even think it was that hot of a take. I didn't even think it was that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a little spicy. I didn't know it was going to be that spicy. I didn't know people were going to get that upset about the criticism towards Pat McAfee. So in case you don't follow us on Instagram at The Burning Hammer, we posted a clip from last week's episode, and we've received some backlash, so we thought we at least got to hop on here and kind of talk about it a little bit, because a lot of people are on Pat's nuts still.
Yeah, so let me say this in response to all the comments.
A lot of L's.
This clip is going to go out there for all the people that commented on that first one. Yo, the glazing on Pat McAfee in our comments right now is crazy. And let me say this.
Say it.
Yeah, the guy is fun, and the guy is energetic, and he brings something to the WWE. And overall, he has been a good addition to the WWE. I'm not arguing that. But, I mean, the fact that this guy is going away for college football game day, and I'm happy about it and could use a little break from the guy, that's not an insane thing at all. If you want to see Pat McAfee, go watch him for 30 hours a week on ESPN. I'm watching Monday Night Raw. I don't need Pat McAfee there. He's not the make or break for me. Yeah, he's fun, but he gets old. He doesn't take it super seriously. He doesn't quite have the wrestling knowledge to do it on an every week basis. Yes, he's very entertaining. Yes, he's very fun. But he gets old after a while. And yes, when he comes back in a few months or whatever, I'm sure I won't be as sick of him then. And I'll be like, yeah, it's good to have Pat back. But the fact that I want somebody who is a real wrestling professional or a real commentary professional as my professional wrestling commentator, the fact that is such a hot take, that's crazy to me. So go ahead, say what you want about Pat McAfee, say what you want about me, that I'm saying it just for a hot take. I mean, I really don't care. I didn't think it was even that hot of a take. And I'm not saying the guy is terrible. I'm saying he gets old after a while, and I think it's good that he's going to do that because I think we could all use a break from the guy. And I think we could get some more serious wrestling and commentary professionals who do this as their main thing and don't have a bunch of other stuff going on as my commentators. Sorry.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, and like it's like I just don't think he would work well with any other commentator outside of Michael Cole. Like, I think if
that's the thing.
That's
Cole
the
carries
thing.
him. Michael Cole carries Pat McAfee, bro. Like, I like Pat, and he is entertaining. But if he's not with Cole, if Michael Cole is not there to drive the narrative for him to let Pat do his thing, the only reason Pat works is because Cole is so good.
Yeah.
The only reason Pat gets to do whatever he wants is because you can trust Cole to essentially do everything while Pat is just there for comedic relief.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not entertaining, but I'm saying after a while, it's nice to switch it up.
Yeah. I mean, and if you know anything about us,
and this, Cole and Graves clear Cole and McAfee by a mile. It's not even close, dude. Multiple people in our comments trying to say that Michael Cole and Pat McAfee are the best duo over Cole and Graves. Bro, you are shot. You're shot. You're out of your mind. Like, you're just a Pat McAfee fan at that point, which is fine. But I'm not watching Raw for Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
I'm watching it for wrestling.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I'm going like a little, and don't take this as like over hate toward Pat. I like Pat. I think he's an overall good addition. But like I said, his shtick gets old after a while. Cole kind of carries him. And if you don't have Michael Cole there to essentially do everything and push the narrative, then Pat's comedic relief and kind of off the cusp, just witty shit that he says doesn't work nearly as well. So I like someone with a little bit more knowledge of wrestling. I like someone with a little bit more knowledge of commentary. That's me. And when Pat comes back, I'm sure it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. And then after a while, I'll be happy to see him go again. That's how it works.
And the other thing is, if anyone who's like familiar with the Burning Hammer, like, we are so like not hot take guys. So when people are just saying like we're just making hot takes to get views, like, it couldn't be more opposite. Like, we're very like on par with everything, and like we don't even have that many hot takes. And so like, no, we don't care. Like, we could sit here and easily spit hot takes weekly to try to get people talking and to get views and all of that stuff.
I could spit a way hotter take than Pat McAfee isn't that great at commentary. I didn't even say he sucks. I didn't even say he's bad. I said that I'm happy to get a break from Pat for a while because I was kind of just why he lost the touch for me. Yeah,
and I don't know. I thought more
and
people.
Now we get Graves, and Cole on a weekly basis. That's fire.
Yeah, I mean, So not much more to say about that. Obviously, I think the overall gist of what we're saying was that we don't think Pat's bad. We're just kind of tired of his whole gimmick that he's got going on. Yeah.
Use a break from Pat. He'll come back and we'll say, hey, Pat's back. Nice. Let's have some fun. And then after a while, we're going to be like, this isn't that fun anymore.
Yeah. Probably about a month. So we got some bad blood matches that have been made official since the last time we recorded. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with a certain somebody, which we'll get into after the 3 matches that have been confirmed. But first up, Liv Morgan's taking on Rhea Ripley for the World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on this match? This is one that we kind of saw coming, that we thought was going to happen at Bad Blood, but we're officially getting it. So how are you feeling about this?
Dude, I don't know where to go with this one because, like, for the longest time, like, in my head, I was like, all right, this all leads up to Bad Blood. Rhea gets the title back at Bad Blood. But I just feel like that hurts Liv so much. Like, I feel like that just squashes Liv completely. So I don't know what the alternative is. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Liv keeps the title here. And I think Rhea may go do some other stuff. And then I think there's a 95% chance that she's back into the title picture for Mania. And then that's maybe go back to Rhea and Liv. Or maybe Rhea takes it and then Liv takes it back off her at Mania.
Okay.
I don't know, though, man. Like, because you do agree that if Rhea goes over clean, it's just like a squash for Liv, right? And it's just like, what do you do
it's
with
definitely
Liv?
gonna hurt Liv a lot. That being said, I fully think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean,
because like
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Liv's gonna take it, but I think there is a very good chance that Rhea wins. And I won't be mad at Rhea winning at all. I just don't want Liv Morgan to get like completely squashed in this process. So
yeah, it's tough. They're playing a tricky game here, and I think that for me, what kind of solidifies it is Liv and Dom's loss at Bash.
Yeah,
like that tag loss. I feel like that was like the first step, and then the next step is going to be both of them getting their wins at Bad Blood. So I mean, early prediction, it feels like Rhea's gonna beat Liv, but if not, I can't see Rhea not winning at Survivor Series. Like, right? Like, if Rhea loses at Bad Blood, then it feels like it's got to be Survivor Series. Like, I think Rhea ends the year as champ. It just depends how long they want to play this game.
Yeah, for sure.
So, the other match that's made official is Damian Priest is finally trying to get his revenge on Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. So, what... Talk me through this match. This is another one that we were kind of talking about for this PLE, and we're getting it. What's your excitement level for this one?
They got me back excited. I think people seemed discouraged with what they were doing with Finn, that he was kind of whatever, that they were essentially should have went right into the Damian and Finn thing as directly after SummerSlam, and I didn't fully disagree with that at all. I think they definitely lost some steam, but I thought they had a great promo on Raw, and I thought they like really brought some heat back into it. Finn being like, no, I'm talking now. You listen to me. You know what I mean? Like Finn,
he
called him out, challenged him. I ain't no sidekick. So yeah, I'm pretty excited at this point, and I think Finn Balor has to win.
Okay. That's I mean, I'm with you. I think that similar to like Liv, like I think
these aren't official predictions by any means.
Oh no. That'll be coming out once we do our official predictions. This is just throwing things out into the air.
Things can the build can always change things for sure. But as of right now, I think Finn has to win this.
And it's interesting. It's going to be
interesting
a one
and
to see.
done.
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. Because like all signs kind of lead to Priest winning, because that seems like it would make the most sense. But like storyline wise, like I don't know where they would go, and I don't think they would drop this story that quick. Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of with you to where leaning towards that Finn's gonna win. And then our third match that's made official at time of recording, by the way, we have, in case something happens on Friday Night SmackDown, we are not aware. It's the first SmackDown that's going to be on the USA Network, so I'm assuming it's going to be a massive one, especially with Cody taking on Solo in a steel cage for the title. So maybe Cody's match got made official for on SmackDown, but we're unaware of any matches if they were made official on Friday Night SmackDown or even on this Monday Night Raw. So the last match that's made official at time of recording was Drew versus CM Punk. Hell in a Cell. Let's go. I am pumped for this match. We haven't had a Hell in a Cell in a while. I think we talked about it before. I think it was Finn versus Edge 2 years ago. I think it was.
Yeah, Mania 39.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm super pumped. This was the only way to end this feud, and I'm excited to see kind of where we go from here. You know, Punk said that I think we're probably going to lead towards Gunther versus Punk for the time being after this feud, because Punk cut that promo and he kind of called out Gunther before Drew beat the piss out of him. So I'm excited for this match. What say you, Dillon?
Yeah, I mean, over the moon excited. This is going to be, these men are going to beat the shit out of each other. Like, holy hell. Yeah. Especially because I think Punk is probably going to win. And I think Drew legitimately, I think we all know Drew legitimately does not like Punk. And I think he legitimately does not want to lose this match. So the fact that he is losing it, I think he's probably going to hit a little bit harder. So, but like I said, things can change and we'll see how this build goes. But as of right now, I feel like, especially after it seems like they're going to go Punk Gunther at some point, and then it's like Punk can't lose to Drew and then just like go after the title. So,
yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the most important thing, I feel like. Because,
so what happens? Where does I think the biggest thing for me is, where does Drew go from here after this feud?
I mean, I'll tell you what. I don't hate this, and I know they're on separate shows, but I also don't give a shit. But like, going after Cody?
Not bad.
Drew and Cody feud? That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun. Heel Drew.
Maybe Drew goes after the IC title.
It just feels like he's got to be a world champion, man.
Maybe I'm with you. Maybe he goes after Seth while Punk goes after Gunther.
Yeah, you think Punk? I think Seth is probably out for a bit.
Till Rumble?
Maybe. We'll see.
I mean,
I don't know.
That pop would be
because
awesome.
I'm like, do you think they're gonna go to Punk and Seth at Mania now?
Yes.
Feels like it, right?
100%.
So it's like so are they gonna do Seth versus Bronson Reed when he comes back, you think?
They
probably
could.
That's the setup. Right?
That would make the most sense. So then for that, I would say he would probably come back prior to the Royal Rumble. It kind of depends what they want to do. If they're going to give him a feud like that, which like having him feud with Bronson Reed makes a lot of sense. So if they do that, they can't have Seth return at the Rumble and then have him feud with Bronson Reed and CM Punk before WrestleMania. So like if he's going to feud with Bronson Reed, he's going to return within the next month or two. I mean, that's kind of what I feel like would happen, and it makes sense. He's put him on the shelf, and it kind of gives him something to do before we get to CM Punk, and then CM Punk obviously is going to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, so that's giving him something to do before we get to him versus Seth.
I think there's also, I'm not saying it's likely, but I think there's a chance for sure that if the Bloodline story ends up going to 5-on-5 with like either The Rock or another Bloodline member joining Solo, and Roman needs a fifth, I think there's a potential chance. It's Seth.
Now we're talking. Now we are talking. I like the way that sounds, Dillon. That could be a lot of fun, having them kind of rebuild their connection. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where kind of everyone goes from here, because we have a lot of like big time feuds that feel like they're potentially coming to an end, and so I think that now it's going to be pretty important to figure out what's next for a lot of these wrestlers. So what do you think? And again, maybe Cody Rhodes' match was made official, but I'm surprised that we haven't gotten anything for Cody Rhodes at Bad Blood yet. What do you think he's going to do?
I think that's why we're waiting. Sorry, my phone was going off. That's why we're waiting for this solo match, right? Like,
I think
feels like
so.
the direction is after that. I mean, Cody's on the card. It's in Atlanta. He has to be on the card.
Oh, he's main
Um,
eventing.
That's what I'm saying. So,
But who? Can't be Solo. I'm assuming he whooped him on SmackDown.
maybe a heel turn KO. Sammy KO too.
I mean, that could be fun, but it's just like it's weird because it's like we said before, we're still waiting. It feels like for the stuff for the bloodline to kind of get started with Cody. You know what I mean? And then because I feel like Cody, the next big thing for Cody is going to be Rock, and we talked about that's probably going to happen at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. So it's like, what are they just going to keep throwing these like one match feuds? Like,
But that's
I mean,
also like there's also a good chance that doesn't happen. You know what I
there
mean?
is.
Like there's
Yeah.
I think
I'll tell you what.
I no,
I got an idea.
Say what you're gonna say, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say.
I got an idea, and I just thought of this on the spot of who it's gonna be. And I'll tell you who it's gonna be. It's going to be a fellow man from Georgia. That's AJ Styles. Wouldn't that be fun? Cody versus AJ, main eventing, both their hometowns. Well, I guess home. I don't know where.
Would it be 3 or 2
Matches?
No, I meant like that was his first feud. Was with AJ.
Oh yeah. What do you mean?
Cody's first feud with the title. He already feuded with AJ.
Yeah.
I'm saying, did they do 2 matches or 3?
Oh, I can't remember.
I feel like it was 2.
I want to say it was 2 as well.
So maybe, yeah, I could see that. Also, here, listen to, I could, yeah. I mean, the pop would be crazy. Listen to this though.
I'm listening.
So I like the idea of Cody Rhodes, and I mentioned this before. It's like, I think he's slowly going to essentially cost himself all his friends on the main roster.
Okay.
So I think it's like going to start in a way that it's like essentially like KO and Orton. They're like, you kept us so wrapped up in with the bloodline for so long. KO is like, I told you I didn't want this match with you. You know what I mean? And it's like, you made me. And now it's like, so KO, and however, we could potentially set up a rematch, heel turn. And then it's like, KO is like, are you happy now, Cody? Like, this is what you wanted. Like, I don't know why you wanted this so bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, KO can kind of go back to that aggressiveness. And then he's like, damn, bro, I lost one of my good friends in KO. You know what I mean? And then he's confiding in Randy, and then Randy, I'm the legend here, not you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I just think slowly but surely, Cody being left alone, and then like eventually losing the title to Randy because he has no friends left. And then he eventually, like when he makes it back to the title, he does it all by himself. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I like that, but who knows? We'll see. I just think.
Who do you think he's facing at Bad Blood?
Kevin Owens.
Okay.
I think my money is on a KO heel turn. KO.
Okay. I like that. I can get behind that. I'm assuming it happened on SmackDown, by the way. Like this, like for us, SmackDown.
Like they set it up already, you're saying? Like after the steel cage or during?
Yeah.
It?
Yeah.
Maybe Cody Roman.
I mean, maybe. I just
would
think
be
like
fucking nuts.
that would be awesome. That would be pretty sick. I mean, it's like I don't know. Do you think there's any shot we get Randy versus Cody at Bad Blood?
I 100% think there's a chance. I just don't. I just think they might as well play the game and wait till Mania at this point. Like it's going to be such a big feud with so much heat.
Yeah.
It deserves a proper build. And it's just such a big match.
Okay. I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
but with that being said, I don't like it could easily happen. I wouldn't be super surprised, but I think I don't know. I almost get the vibe that they're really playing the long game with the Randy thing, and that's going to be the Mania feud. I don't know. Like, do you get that vibe as well?
Yeah,
I get that vibe. I'm not saying 100%. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked by any means if they started it earlier, if they have other plans. But we know how long they plan. Like, we know Mania is already like pretty much scratched in. Yeah, getting booked the year ahead. So, and I think right now, everything points to if it's not Cody Rocket Mania, which fucking dear Lord, I pray that it is not. Then it'll be Cody Randy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, WrestleMania's card could be another absolute banger. And I know we like talked about it, I think it was last episode or maybe the episode before, but like obviously you can't have all of these matches take place at WrestleMania. So like I could easily see them getting it started with Cody and Randy prior to WrestleMania, and then that kind of be the culmination of everything. But I just I don't know what I don't know what they're going to do for Bad Blood with Cody. I'm praying for the love of God. I'm hoping it's not Solo. I don't see how it could be, assuming that I'm assuming Cody won and he's still our champ. But like, how many times does Cody need to beat Solo for them to just like be like, we're stepping away from this? So like for me, that's what that feels like. I think there's like no shot he's wrestling Solo. So I think we're going to get like another kind of one-off potentially feud. But I think there's a good shot that it's like you said, KO or even AJ, who's been sidelined for quite some time. So you guys let us know in the comments.
He went to Japan. Like he wrestled in Japan.
Yeah, but wasn't that like a while ago?
How long ago was that? I
don't
think he's been back since then, but I think that was like the main reason.
Yeah, but wasn't that in like 3 months ago? Am I tripping? I thought that was a while.
I lose track of time. I don't know.
So you guys let us know, who do you think, if it hasn't been determined yet, let us know in the comments on who you think Cody Rhodes is going to be facing at Bad Blood. Whatever it is, I'm excited for it. I don't think it's going to be something dumb or a bad match whatsoever. So, Dillon, we got our top 500 for PWI, but we are just going to be discussing the top 10 for PWI. So basically, this is one. I guess they're like a company. They have a few different criterias that they kind of go through.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
A magazine.
Really big back in the day. You may have known them from their magazines and whatnot. So they do a top 500 list of men's wrestlers, women's wrestlers, and tag teams every single year. So they just dropped the men's top 500 wrestlers. So we are going to be discussing, the top 10. So, Dillon, have you seen this list at all?
I glanced at it, and I know who number one is.
Okay.
But
it's hard to not. It's kind of number one is everyone is going to kind of guess that. So real quick, I'm going to I pulled up the criteria just so everyone knows like what PWI is judging for their stuff. So everything is solely on kayfabe. So it's a wrestler's win-loss record, championships won, quality of competition, major feuds, prominence within a wrestler's promotion, and overall wrestling ability. So those are the criterias that they take into account. And then the evaluation period was from August 1st of 2023 to July 31st of 2024. So that's pretty important to keep in mind, just because it's not just the year 2024. It was also a lot of last year. So without further ado, let's dive into this list. Number 10 is Mystico.
Mystico, mainly wrestling in AAA, I believe. And he has appeared, obviously, in AEW and things over the years. Was at one point in WWE, I believe. So, Mystico, haven't been able to watch a ton of Mystico this year, but I know how talented he is, and I know he had a huge year in AAA, Mark, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I haven't watched too much of him, but I know he is an exceptional talent. So I don't know how high he's been up on this list before, but potentially this is the highest he's ever been. So it's obviously a big year for Mystico. Real quick, I wanted to go over some guys actually outside of the top 10 because there's some interesting names here. So number 12 is Sami Zayn. How you feel about that?
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Sammy did have a really big year, man. Especially from August to what? He won the Intercontinental Championship. He had some pretty major feuds. He had one of the best matches at Mania, probably. Yeah, I mean, Sami Zayn is as over as it gets, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good spot for him. And then number 13 is Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I think I think Drew could potentially even be even higher, just considering how hot this feud with Punk has been, and he did win the world title at WrestleMania. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Drew's been on an absolute tear. I'm not mad at him being number 13. I think you could make the argument to throw him in the top 10. And then the last one we'll get to outside of the top 10 is going to be Jey Uso at 17.
Yeah, Jey Uso, this is probably the highest he's ever been, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Biggest jump ever. Good for Jey Uso, man. Like, finally on a huge singles run. I'd argue he's probably up there for most amount of singles wins without a title in that time period, for sure.
Probably.
Yeah. So
I think that was kind of the biggest thing that was holding him back, was just not getting titles, and then potentially even with him with feuds, I feel like he's just been kind of all over the place. So he hasn't really gotten a lot of super serious and good feuds. But let's get into this top 10 because we talked about Mystico, number 10. Number 9 is the Ring General Gunther.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, Gunther deserved to be in this top 10 for the last few years in a row now. And it makes sense that I think he dropped a little bit probably. But it makes sense. He lost the IC title to Sami Zayn. That's probably a big reason why Sami was so high, was such a big win over Gunther. And he's now just recently won the world title. So I would expect him this year to make his way back up into that top 5. But really good to see Gunther in this top 10. And he is going to be somebody that is probably going to stay there for quite a long time.
Yeah, I would be extremely surprised if he's not top 5 next year. He could even be number 1.
Yeah.
Next year. So yeah, I think this is the lowest Gunther is going to be for quite some time. I think he's going to consistently be top 5 for the next 5 years. So definitely not mad at Gunther for Gunther being at number 9. So number 8 is going to be Jon Moxley. AEW, potentially the best AEW wrestler ever, maybe. You guys let me know how you guys feel about that. But how you feel about Moxley being at number 8?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Moxley was out for a while. But this time period is screwing me up.
It's tough to kind of remember.
Dude, Moxley's a top star. When he's active, he's a top guy. He makes everything entertaining. Yeah. He can I mean, I don't think he gets enough credit for his like. He can go in just like a regular wrestling match. He can go in a hardcore match. He's got a lot of versatility. Like he can do a ton, and I
Yeah,
don't think he gets
sneaky technical.
Yeah, I don't think he gets quite enough credit for it. So, yeah, love me some Mox.
And so, I mean, I'm fully with you. He's going to be in this top 10 for quite a while. And I think he probably has been over the past few years. And so, number 7, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Now, I'll tell you this. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, timeline wise, but I don't know. Doesn't it feel like he was gone for a while? Like last year? Am I tripping?
He was definitely out for a while after he lost the title.
Wasn't he out for like 6 months?
Yeah, I think he's just such a massive draw and star. I think that American Championship reign was like already very good and funny. I think that probably boosted him up some.
Too short.
Too short for sure. Like I don't know why Tony loves doing that shit, but yeah, I think this might be. I love me some MJF, but I think this might be a little high just based on like how he was definitely out for a while.
Yeah, and I would need to like go back and like look, but off like the top of my head, I swore he was like gone for a while, at least during like this time period. Now I know like over the past couple of months probably helped him out a lot with that, like you said, the American Championship and his feud with Will Ospreay and
60-minute Iron Man, yeah.
So I'm sure that probably helped a lot for the time that he did miss. But I think that like I'm definitely not mad at it, but I think you could potentially make the argument to drop him down to like 9-ish. But let's move on to number 6 because I was pretty pumped about this one. Number 6 is Damian Priest.
Hell yeah. Good for Damian, man. Damian won the world title at Mania, has really elevated himself into a main event star at this point, man. Damian Priest won the title at a time when people weren't fully sure about him. And at this point, it's 100% in stone that this guy's a main event level talent. He's had some great matches, man. Like his match with Gunther at SummerSlam was an absolute banger, dude. Like holy hell, that was a banger. His match with Seth was really good at Money in the Bank. He's been a workhorse, man. So and he's gotten in such good shape. He looks great. So really happy for Damian Priest.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm curious to see like what wrestling fans think about Priest being at number 6 because I know he gets a lot of hate online. So stop hating on Damian Priest because he's great. So Damian Priest is at number 6. So let's move on to number 5, and that's Tetsuya Naito. New Japan. I can't personally say too much about them because I don't watch too much of New Japan, but I know Naito has been like a staple for them for quite some time. And I know for like anyone who has no idea who he is or you've never even watched him wrestle or anything like that, he's like a legend for them.
Yeah, I mean,
like Randy Orton status.
He is a wrestling. He is not only a Japanese wrestling legend, he's just a professional wrestling legend in general. Naito won the G1 Climax, and a few years back, he really just completely reinvented himself with a new character. He was always a fan favorite in Japan, but then with this like whole reinvention, it's been like that's really what has elevated him back into being such a main event level star. Believe he's I know he won the G1 Climax. He won the title at Wrestle Kingdom. He wrestled Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson this year for an AEW pay-per-view, and I know that was an absolute banger. I know he wrestled Moxley this year. In Moxley took the title off him, and then I believe Naito took it back. So that was and I know that was an absolute banger. So yeah, huge year for the Japanese legend.
For sure. So let's move on to number 4. And that is Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, man.
How you feel about that?
Love Seth, man. I mean, he put WrestleMania on his back this year, man. He was the MVP of WrestleMania for sure. He just delivers every time he's in the ring. He's probably my favorite wrestler of all time at this point. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, as long as Seth Rollins is an active wrestler, he'll be in this top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully with you, and easily will always be in the top 10. I think he will probably be in the top 5 for quite some time. So yeah, I mean, Seth, I'm surprised he's not higher, but I think that number 4 is probably a pretty good spot for him. So number 3 is going to be Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I mean, Will Ospreay's had a huge year for AEW.
Massive.
I
Massive
mean,
year.
Seriously, I mean, he's become, I don't think people realize, I mean, so many people were aware of him and a fan of him, but he's become almost like he's pretty much the star of it. He's probably the biggest star in AEW at this point, honestly. Like, it's like he's so incredibly good, so incredibly passionate about what he does. Yeah, he can be a little snarky, and you know what I mean. But overall, it's hard not to like a guy that just has so much passion about this business, is so talented at what he does, and yeah, man. I mean, just the bangers this guy has put on. He has really established the AEW International Championship as a, I'd say it's like kind of become like the IC title of AEW, and I think they were struggling to find that secondary title, which one was going to be because they have so many at this point. And I think that was part of their problem. I think they were putting more in there to see which one could be, but I think it's probably established now. The AEW International title it goes world and then international. And I think we can agree with that at this point. And that's because of Will Ospreay, honestly. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Will Ospreay, probably the best year of his career. And I mean, that says a lot when you've already had a lot of really great years and he's still very young. So future's bright.
Great entrance
for Will Ospreay.
Great entrance.
Great entrance. Crowd loves him. One of the most over guys.
Yeah,
in general in wrestling. And so moving from one over guy to the next guy who potentially is even more over, and that's Swerve Strickland. I'm pumped that Swerve is number 2, Dill.
Whose house?
Swerve's house.
Yeah,
Swerve. Swerve. Top rope, get your drive, get your foot when I drive.
Yes, swerve when I drive. Yes, swerve when I drive. Top rope, get your vibe when I drive. When I ride, yeah, swerve when I drive. Yeah, dude, Swerve is a fucking man. WWE fumbled him so fucking hard, dude. Absolute massive star.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him.
I'm kind of upset that his title reign ended the way it did.
Agreed.
Definitely premature.
Agreed.
But I will say this. Thinking about it now, I understand it in the aspect of Danielson's like, look, this is my last run. So I don't think he was like, I want to be the champion. I think Tony was like, if I'm going to make Danielson the champion, I have to make him the champion now. You know, essentially, like, he didn't have a.
I think the thought process was probably like Danielson wanted to retire, and Tony was like, "We need to make you a champion before you retire."
Yeah, I think that was probably like, we know how much Tony.
It should have happened a while ago.
It should have happened a while ago. So that's their, I guess, biggest problem with it. But, I think it'll all work out now because you have Danielson going to go on a great retirement run. You had an awesome moment and match with Danielson and Swerve at All In. I mean, really an emotional moment. Bringing. Well, I mean, we all remember Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan at the time, winning the main event of WrestleMania 30. But he didn't have kids at the time, and you know what I mean? Like, he's further along. He's been through so much at this point. Like, he's retired, come out of retirement, switch companies. It's so much has happened.
Yeah.
Since then. And to get to this point, and he's able to do it with his children and his wife, you could tell just how awesome and special of a moment that was. So, and I think, and the only way to not fumble this is to Swerve's got to be the one to take it off him. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
Swerve has got to be the one to take it off him. So, and we're getting back to I think Swerve needs to get his get back and get his title back off Danielson for that all to work out. But with that being said, so happy for Swerve Strickland, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully with you. Swerve is the man. I always loved him in NXT. I remember because I watched him. I forget what the show was called, but there was a show on Viceland that they had, and it was just like a wrestling kind of documentary style show, and they did one on hardcore like deathmatch wrestling, and Swerve Strickland then was Shane Strickland, but they like had him interviewed him and stuff because he didn't wrestle death matches that much, and I forget what company. It may have been CZW that he did the death match for, but they were just like, why do you want to do like a death match if you've like never done one before? And he was just like, because I want to wrestle in like every kind of style of wrestling. And so like once I think that was pre NXT, and like once I saw that, like I was kind of, he was on my radar. Then obviously everything that happened with NXT, I'm just like, I'm really happy that he's getting this spotlight and he's getting the shine. And he's obviously, the title run was way shorter than it should have been, and that's kind of
his name. What was his name in NXT? Isaiah Swerve Scott, was that it?
Something like that.
It's gonna piss me off.
I'm gonna look it up. Google. You give that.
As you announce our number one guy.
Yeah. So we'll get to. I'll get to number one, and then I'm trying to figure where somebody else landed for this, and I don't know if I am tripping or not, but we'll get to that in a second. So number one is obviously the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I mean, talk about a guy.
It was Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Okay. You talk about a guy who's had a year in wrestling.
Yeah, number one,
Cody Rhodes.
Number one is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And I mean, rightfully so, man. I mean, think about from last year, he had the feud with Brock, that I guess ended at SummerSlam, right?
Yes.
So so I guess that would have been the beginning of his year. And then the whole thing back, wins the Rumble for the second year in a row, which is such a massive accomplishment. The fact to stay that over that long, and do it for a second year and have the people behind you like that against a guy like Punk coming back into WWE. That was such a big moment for him. Then, of course, Cody Mania. I mean, we had this guy, the main event of WrestleMania was taken away from him, and the fans demanded it be given back to him. And I mean, that whole situation just makes him number one just because of that. Like, being that over, being like that story finally coming to a close. He's got to be number one this year.
Of course.
And of course he's had some bangers. And that main event of WrestleMania, I mean, maybe I'm biased because we were there in person, but I think it was the best of all time. So,
I mean, it's obviously it's tough to say, but I mean, I think you could make a very easy case that was the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time, and I think WWE probably even said that it was the best main event ever as well. So yeah, I mean, Cody Rhodes, obviously he's going to be top 10 in this list for many years to come. Probably he's going to stay in the top 3 for the next 2 years, but one name that I did want to get to before we sign off here, because I didn't really realize it until we were talking about getting really into this top 5. And that's a name that was absent from this list, and that's Roman Reigns.
Yeah. But I think it makes sense.
Well, so I was confused about what, because I was looking, I couldn't find him, right? And I was like, they're not. I
Maybe he's not eligible. Didn't wrestle enough?
Yeah, so that's the thing. And this isn't I believe that PW said it, or PWI said it, or they tweeted it. But this article is from thesportstalk.com, so you can go over and read that over there. But they were asked about why Roman wasn't on the top 500 list. And they said he had only 5 singles matches in the time period that they were judging.
I mean, yeah. So, and that's the thing. And then they're like, if we're gonna put him on, we can't put him at like 500. So we can't. Yeah. We just gotta leave him off. Like he's just gotta be like ineligible. So yeah, I mean, I get you, man.
So there is.
I think it was the right call. I think.
Yeah.
Because like we said, if you're gonna put him on, what are you gonna do? You can't put Roman Reigns in the hundreds. So I think just saying he's ineligible is the best call.
Yeah, and so you need to the minimum requirement is 10 matches or 6 matches over 6 different months. So because I was like looking at it and I was like, I couldn't find him, and I thought I was tripping. And I was like, dude, like that was like he was having a hell of a run. I just can't believe he wrestled. I knew he wasn't wrestling that much, but like I can't believe he wrestled that little.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's the thing, and they're like, we can't put a guy with a 4-1 record in the top 10, like so.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, just in case, because a lot of people would have.
And he ate myself. 2 pins. He ate 2 pins. He ate a pin from Jay and a pin from Cody that year.
I wonder how many matches he had, because that was just singles matches. So he probably had. He had the 7, tag match.
7 or 8. Probably was. Because he had the one at Mania, the one with Solo. I feel like that was it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Just in case anybody was wondering where the hell Roman was and why he wasn't on this list. But you guys let us know in the comments. How do you feel about this list? You pumped that Cody's at number 1? I know Cody is kind of starting to get a lot of hate because people just need to hate on something that everybody else loves. So you guys let us know, who do you think was your the number 1 wrestler for you over that time period? And again, just a reminder, buy our merch. We have a ton of really cool designs up on there, and we're going to be dishing out some more in the future at tpublic.com, or you can head over to the link in the description and sign up for our Patreon. $1 a month. You could join the World Champion tier, early content, ad-free content, exclusive content. And even if you don't want to pay the $1 a month, you can sign up for free, and we are still pushing stuff out there for the freebies, and that is where will be having a bunch of really good wrestling discussions with everybody on there. They have a cool chat feature where you can just create kind of a chat, and then everyone can kind of chime in and talk about it there. So once we start to build up more people on there, we will definitely be talking on there more than on our social media accounts. And then don't forget, we better see you at the dog event, September 28th, Sacred Heart Church in Riverton, New Jersey. We will be there live. We better see you there if you're in the area.
Tank Tolan taking on the Flag Boy, taking on Connor, the Flag Boy.
All I gotta say is I hope Connor's been training.
That puny idiot, Connor the Flag Boy, taking on Tank Tolan. Gosh, he pissed off Jim Molyneux, and now he's gonna pay for it. I'm gonna tell you that much. So I can't wait to be there in person to watch that all go down.
Of course, and even if you can't make it there, hop on the live stream. We'll be doing a live episode of the podcast, along with potentially interviewing some wrestlers post-match and all of that good stuff. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up the episode. I'm Mark Izzo, he's Dillon O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. We will catch you next week.
Peace out, guys.